And then on the 12th, we have Kenzane, 13th, Jim Melancholy, the 19th, Jeremy Prophet, the 20th, Godfather of Swole, the 25th, which is a Monday, just remember that, on Monday, we have Fox. On the 26th, we have Honest John. The 28th, we have Izzy B. The April 2nd, we have Lizardman, Nathan Niles, and the 3rd, April 3rd, we have Zeke and Dino. And then, keeping up with that WrestleMania week, we have a watch along with Seabass Finn of his match from New Japan Dojo Showcase that Thursday, so April 4th. I think we're all done putting ourselves over, no, Swiddle?
I'd say so.
Right. It was not a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And a sad bit of news, Ole Anderson, Virgil, and Paul the Butcher Rashawn have all unfortunately passed. Uh, Ole Anderson, arguably a part of one of the greatest tag teams of all times, with Arn Anderson, Minnesota Wrestling Crew.
And with his actual Anderson brother Gene, Arn was considered the cousin, and they were Arn and Ole were like the Minnesota Wrecking Crew 2.0. Ole and Gene were the original, the OG Minnesota Wrecking Crew, if you have to call that anything.
I mean, if we're talking about the more famous Minnesota Wrecking Crew, it was arguably it was on and Ole, I would say.
I'd say the Beverly Brothers. No, but it's that gruff voice of his is something I will never forget.
Obviously, after his in-ring career, he was one. He was the booker, right, for WCW.
Yeah, I would equate him to being somebody like Pat Patterson for the WWE. A lot of original ideas. Maybe not the best personal reputation, but what he contributed to this business will go down in history.
Absolutely. As you know, maybe as you said, maybe not the most liked, but arguably, you can't deny his contributions to the business and what he's done. Um, then obviously Virgil was the well, he wasn't the manager. He was the bodyguard for the $1 Million Man.
And and we said we weren't really gonna delve into this, but I think we kind of have to, only because Virgil was Virgil because of a big screw you to Dusty Rhodes.
And supposedly, woman and November.
Well, Dusty's real name was Virgil.
But like, who actually knew that?
Vince did.
I mean, technically, yes.
That's something that's totally a Vince move. Russo or McMahon. Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, he was known for being the a bodyguard for $1 Million Man. Um, you know, notwithstanding of how he got the name, I do know that there is a story about him, $1 Million Man, losing the $1 Million title, and a Virgil actually came through into the rescue. So it's not all negative when it comes to Virgil as well.
I
Um,
mean, the fact that he kept changing his name. Uh, First he was Vincent, then he was Shane, then he was Curly Bill.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, another polarizing figure in the pro wrestling world. And then you have Paul Vachon, who was the father of Luna Vachon.
Yes. This literally was reported before we started tonight. Uh, you might not be familiar with Paul Vachon's actual in-ring work, but looking up his his life, I think it is something any fan of the business should take a couple of minutes out of their day to look at, because in this business there are the truly good people are few and far between, and Paul Vachon was one of those good people.
And unfortunately, we do not have a lot of time to you know, go in depth about each individual this week. Just too much to talk about. So we'll kind of leave it at thoughts and prayers to the friends and families of each individual. All right. Uh, an interesting bit of news. Maxine Dupree. Um, a video of her. She was at a live event and she was competing. Um, the fans were not necessarily receptive to her and her in-ring ability. And a video of a fan booing her, telling her to quit, has somewhat gone viral. And a lot of the wrestlers responded to it. I understand. Maxine is well liked backstage, and rightfully so. But when you when you buy a ticket to a pro wrestling event, you have the right to cheer or boo whoever you want. If fans chose to boo Maxine, that is their choice in the matter, no, Scooter?
Yeah, it's absolutely their choice. It's also a choice to act like a decent human being too. Uh, so it's a a two-way street, and that's one of the great things that having in-ring experience helps you see from the outside in. It gives you that other perspective. That, guess what? She can get better in the ring. You cannot be a better human being.
Okay, well, again, you have the right to boo and cheer whoever you want. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you Maxine is, the best wrestler in the world. Um,
Far
Not a
from
lot
it.
of people will. Um, but if you're going to be in this business, you kind of have to understand that. Kind of, know that you're not going to be liked by everybody, that you are going to get booed by some people.
Yeah,
And, that's the reason she's doing these live events, is to get better. I only
yeah,
think she's like, what, 10 matches into her career?
yeah, yeah, and there was a point where she wasn't going to get in the ring at all. Um, but I think the comparison needs to be made here. Uh, when Trish Stratus started, um, she was not the best in the ring. Far from it.
Very true.
And
Arguably one of the best of all time.
so it's the truly great female wrestlers are like fine wines. They take time to achieve their full bloom, and once they do, you won't be able to get enough of them.
Well, I mean, ring wise, yeah, not the best. But I don't think there's any denying that Maxine is actually really good on the mic and one of the best characters that WWE has. Um,
It's funny. Uh, Earlier today, I was actually talking to Otis. Otis, the latest pro wrestler to take to Twitch and streaming. But he was streaming under the Alpha Academy. So
he was
uh,
streaming what he was eating.
no, he was playing
Fruit
Call of
Ninjas,
Duty,
cooking
Call of
mama.
Duty, Call of Duty Zombies.
I think it's just a matter of time and people not wanting to be patient with the process. Not everybody's a Kurt Angle. Not everybody is a Bianca Belair. Not everybody is a fish to water. Sometimes it takes time to grow gills.
You gotta swim before you can walk. Wait,
Exactly. And before you swim, you must crawl. Alright, what else do we have? Um, Keeping on WWE news, um, there was a mega return this week. Ty Dillinger.
mm,
We
yeah,
have we
except it's not Ty Dillinger.
he's Ty Spears.
He's Shawn Spears. They let him keep the name.
How the fuck does that work?
It's his actual name.
But I mean, they know him as Ty Dillinger.
Uh, how many of the current NXT fans can tell you that they remember the Perfect 10 Ty Dillinger?
Well, considering they're literally in the same area that they filmed it when he was still there, I'd say about a fair amount.
He also has put on quite a bit of muscle since since the uh since leaving and coming back. Uh, part of me thought that they were actually going to make him number 10 in the Rumble. Um,
They did that already.
I know they did it twice in a row, but still. Uh,
Do it a third time.
uh, I mean, the fact that those NXT promos had us all fooled. Because let's be honest, that stuff in NXT has come to be like throwing spaghetti against a wall and seeing if it will stick. It was definitely a shock.
But was it a good shock or a bad shock?
Oh, that was a good shock. That was. I love when pro wrestling can genuinely surprise me.
Considering that it was Willie Nowhere that he was coming back,
Yeah,
I'd say so.
yeah. That was not on anyone's bingo card. I can guarantee you that.
And I think that's kind of the problem in one sense. He was Ty Dillinger, Shawn Spears, not exactly on anybody's radar.
So, now NXT has a chairman.
Yay. Yay? Question mark?
To be continued.
Da da da. I mean, he is an NXT, so obviously he could help some of the younger talent. God knows that they need it. Considering, guys like Braun Breaker are, already on their way out, just a matter of time. Uh, so on that front, that's great. But like, how many of it, it's weird to say, but how many of AEW's rejects could WWE take back? You know what I mean?
I mean, if they were WWE's rejects to begin with, um, part of me thinks that that's why they were so quick to sign back QT.
That's right. And apparently to a very lucrative deal as well, depending on who you ask.
Now, now the question is, does he bring his wife with him?
QT?
No, Spears.
Oh,
Clinics. Which let's be real. The time to do that has passed.
did it?
I mean, where were they?
I don't know. I haven't seen them in like years.
No. Where was Elimination Chamber?
Oh, Australia.
There.
I mean, they were at the last one, so I mean, it doesn't really count.
Fair enough.
I mean, then you would. I'm not sure that Peyton Royce and Billy Kay actually wrestle anymore. I think they retired, so.
Yeah, they have. I know they've retired at least from teaming together. But I think Peyton could have a nice singles career if she decides she wanted to pursue that.
I'm not sure. I feel like Billy was the more interesting of the two.
I mean, when they did that whole sticking their their chest out and Tony Storm clearly stealing that. I was like, are they trying to show that they're guys that have guts? That always looks so off to me. But the other thing you have to remember is being a pro wrestling couple is now an advantage.
Because if you want one, you have to have the other.
It's that's almost. I'd say that's a 51-49 split.
Mm, I'm not sure. Alright. Um, I mean, I can remember that there was one. Um, what is her name? Michigan and Keith Lee. They're not in the same place.
Yes, they were. They were both under contract.
No, she's WWE. He's AEW.
I know, but they're locked into contract. Peyton Royce is not.
And I mean, if we're getting really super technical about this, CM Punk and AJ Lee.
Well, that's in the that's been in the pipeline as I've heard, and when Punk heals up, there's a very good chance we will see Punk and AJ against Becky and Seth.
Hmm, I don't know about it. Oh, I find this interesting. An indie pro wrestler named Patrick Scott has since retired and became a WWE writer.
Yes, I saw the story. That was almost surprising as learning Freddie Prinze Jr. had been hired by the writers.
Freddie Prinze is back in WWE.
I mean, he's been recording all the A&E stuff, Rivals, Legends biographies.
But I mean, also Renee Paquette is on those things. So I mean,
Well, I mean, no, this is for the new season.
yeah,
Uh,
Renee is on those.
uh, for the upcoming new season, which actually starts tomorrow night.
No, it
Uh,
started last week.
it's the Rock and Triple H one in the Sergeant Slaughter biography. They did the biography last week. Rivalries starts tomorrow, and it starts with the Rock and Triple H.
And I saw it last week. Rock and Triple H.
No. I'm sorry. It's Savage. It's Savage and Jacob Snake tomorrow.
Let's stick with Patrick Scott. Obviously not a guy that was WWE. Does an indie wrestler have a place as a writer?
I mean, he. You would think he would have to, since somebody recognized something in him enough to sign him. Somebody had to have been keeping tabs on him.
In your approximate guesstimation, who would that necessarily be? The only one I could really tell you for sure does things like that is William Regal.
Uh, it's that's quite possible. This also might be enough. This could very well be a Freddie Prinze Jr. suggestion.
How would Freddie Prinze even know who this guy is?
Freddie Prinze Jr. is responsible for getting Jeff Hardy his first World Heavyweight title reign.
Because he
So,
knew who Jeff Hardy was.
hmm.
Well, I don't exactly know a lot about, this hire, so, we shall see um, what comes of it. Hopefully good shit, maybe not, who knows. Oh, and really interesting piece of news this week was that one of the plans for TNA, and still is to go live every Thursday. Obviously, that may be not the best idea when, going to different, arenas, um, ticket sales, etc., etc. But, keeping on, Scott Demore, he was lobbying for TNA to go into Full Sail University to record their TV tapings every Thursday. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. It's it's a very a very unusual situation. Should TNA go live? Probably not. Um, I mean, when I read about the whole addressing the crowd before No Surrender, I have expected uh, the roster to either walk out or announce that they had actually sold to TKO. But um, it's I mean, given the fact that they just signed Alex Hammerstone.
Did they know?
Yep.
Yay? Question mark. It seems like TNA. Their biggest issue is they got some momentum when they said, "Hey, we're going back to being TNA," and then they became TNA again, and
Nothing changed.
yeah, it's still TNA. You know, what was it like? Maybe like a year or before all of this started, maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months ago. It seemed like they were just happy to be still active. They were the little buddy company for WWE, AEW, New Japan. They literally worked with every single company because literally no company saw them as a threat.
Hmm.
And that's fine. just to be that. You know, not every company needs to be WWE level.
Um, I think something that has to kind of be taken into account is the the wide availability of of TNA's primary broadcasting channel, which is Access TV, which a lot of cable companies have dropped. I know Verizon did it because I can't record it anymore.
Right.
And it's the same. It's the same for I can't record I can't record New Japan anymore. So
Well, in your defense, you don't actually watch New Japan.
I mean I watched a little bit, when I had to clean out my DVR.
This kind of always happens to TNA. They garner a little bit of, you know, attraction, a little bit of interest, but they never are able to hold it.
Yeah. Uh, they make steps, but then they trip and fall down the fucking staircase.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Alright, I think that will be our conclusion of the news. Oh,
Yes.
and now,
Yeah.
and now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.